days to look at your day and say to yourself, when are you going to feel you've got time? Maybe it's on a Tuesday. Maybe it's on a Sunday afternoon. Whatever report or plan you're going to create, that will have to work. So what should you do on your weekly study plan? Choose specific days that you're going to study, like a Tuesday and a Saturday, or a Wednesday and a Sunday. Then choose specific times on those days that you're going to study. Look at it as an appointment. Think of it as you, the boss. Go close that door and nobody's allowed to bug you for the next hour or two, whatever it is you came up with. Remember, very, very importantly, to include family time. It's very important that you still have to. If you've got little children, they don't stop being little just because you've decided to study. If you have got parents that depend on you or that's waiting for you to visit, don't forget about that. Be realistic. You don't have to be perfect. So if you thought, you know what, I started the studying and I thought I've got 3 hours available each week, and now you start studying and you realize, you know what, I only have like maybe 1.5 hours. Be okay with that. It just means on those hours, you've got to focus very well to get everything done that you wanted to do over 3 hours. So review your plan. Check your plan and see, is this plan actually making sense? Is this plan realistic in what it is that I want to do? And if it's unrealistic, fix it. So there are certain tools that we can use for our calendars. We can do it on our phones. You can create a to-do list. You can get yourself just a good old-fashioned notebook like those that we used on the schools. They're normally not that expensive. I think I bought one the other day from Pep stores for like $10.99. Just plain lines, those funny grayish brown covers on the top that you write your name on. Even something like that would work. Set alarms for yourself. Set reminders that you know, okay, on a Saturday at 2 o'clock, I must go and study. Because Saturday, 1 o'clock is going to come and your friend's going to say, do you want to watch a movie with me? Yeah, no, let's watch a movie. Like, oops, now I forgot I'm supposed to study. So set reminders for yourself. My favorite, a simple checklist that you just simply tick off. I find it very satisfying when I see all these ticks and I know, okay, you know what? Let me change it to a pen. So I've done this one. Sorry, I'm left-handed, guys, so doing it with a mouse is a disaster. I've done that one. I've done that one. When I come and look at my list, I'm like, I'm like more than halfway through this course. This is actually pretty cool. I'm not falling behind. So checklists really work very well for some people. Create for yourself a wall timetable or put it on the fridge. There are lots of other apps that you can also use to do your planning. So what is poor planning versus good planning? So poor planning is that you want to study just before your deadlines. You forget to do your tasks. You try to work when you are tired. You feel like you're constantly behind. Good planning is that you stick to your study times most of the time. I think if you stick to it 80% of the time, you're okay. Give yourself those 20% times to mess up. It's okay. Have clear weekly goals. Be realistic in your goal setting. Don't say to yourself, I'm going to be reading 100 pages in 10 minutes. Nobody can do that. You're not a computer. You can't work like that. So be realistic, but set clear goals for yourself. And that is going to lead to having less stress. So there's certain habits that you can also create that's going to help. Try to study in the same place every single week. It makes it so much easier to work if you go to the same place. If that means the kitchen table, then so be it. But have a set space that you are going to work at so that it's not, okay, now I'm in my bed. Guys, studying in your bed is a very, very dangerous thing because you sit and you've got your blankets on. Now at the moment it's still hot, but you get distracted. So find a space that you can sit in that is safe for you to sit and work in. Try to study at the same time every work. Turn off your distractions. If that means you leave your cell phone in a different room from where you are, then that's what you've got to do. Some of us, I'm an inclusive education specialist, so I know what are the things that we do to help children focus. Some people need music to focus. If you are one of those people that you need to play your doof, doof, doof music, that's going to help you focus, then do it. If you're one of the people that needs silence, then figure out where you're going to get silence. Don't be unrealistic, though, and expect to have silence at a time when all the family is moving around in the house. So tell your family your study hours so that they know. And guys, what really works well with family for our loved ones basically is when they understand why you are doing this course. I want to do this course so that I can get a better job. I want to do this course so I can get a promotion and get more money. Now they understand why you're doing that. And then they will support you. It's not just some random thing. Oh, well, you know what? Work told me I've got to do this and now I've got to do that. It's not going to be important to them. So tell your family why you are studying and what time you have put to aside. Always start with your small tasks first. Take short breaks. I want to say the normal human being, and I use that lightly because I think there is no such thing as a normal human being. We are all unique in our own ways. But a brain can generally only focus for 30 to 40 minutes. Like I've been speaking now 40 minutes, you're starting to get tired already. So study, if you can go 40 minutes, then save yourself 40 minutes and then set a timer for 10-minute break or a 5-minute break. If you can only study for 20, maybe you struggle with focus. If you can only study for 20 minutes, study 20 minutes and take a 10-minute break. But don't study for 20 minutes and take an hour break. Then you're not going to get anywhere. So take short breaks. And then reward yourself with something. I can remember when I started my first degree that I got, those were still the days of books. I bought Smarties. And if I finished a page, I could have a Smartie or a jelly tot or what the heck ever is your thing. I would not go with alcohol because then you're going to forget what you studied after a couple of pages. But find something that is rewarding for you. If that means, you know what, I'm going to be doing this study, and because I've managed to stick to it, because you've got to bribe yourself. If you say to yourself, you know what, if I can stick through these 2 hours of studying with my short breaks, I can have a chocolate or I can go and watch something, make something that you actually enjoy. To me, the ultimate relaxation is I want to go and take a bath and no kid must disturb me. I just want to have 15 minutes in the bath for myself. Whether I listen to music, smell bubble baths, I don't care. I just want 15 minutes of peace and quiet. To me, that is one of the treats I can give myself. So find a reward that's going to work for you. So back into the academic world. On your system, you will find in all your modules something that looks something like this. It will be saying study schedule. It's not necessarily all going to look exactly like this one. It will look something similar to that. I'm trying to see now, there we go. So this one is split over 12 weeks. So it's actually quite nice. This has already done the planning for you. Now you just have to go and figure out, okay, in week 1, when am I going to be studying in week 1? What am I going to have available? Do I have 1 hour? Go look at the amount of work. If you see, you know what, I can easily do this in 1 hour, then be it. But first go figure out how much work you cover in 1 hour. And it will differ from module to module. Some modules, an hour, especially if it's stuff that you find difficult, an hour is maybe you're going to be able to do, let's say, 4 or 5 pages. If it's difficult, if it's an easy one that you just read, you could probably push it to about 8 pages. That is a realistic expectation of your time. So let us build a weekly plan. I'm going to just talk you through it so that you can see what's going on. So you're going to choose 2 to 4 days for your study this week. So I'm not going to watch whether you are doing that. I'm talking you through the exercise. So you're going to choose which day you want to have. Then you are going to choose, let's use the highlighter. So you're going to choose the days that you want to study. Then you're going to choose the time that you want to study. Then you're going to write down one task per study session that you want to include. So include work and family commitments in your planning. You need to know the soccer is on Sunday afternoon from 3 until 5. So don't schedule it there. Have your stuff together. Keep your plan simple. Really, after years and years of experience, the simpler your plan, the better the chances of it working. Don't try to be perfect in your studies, just get the stuff done. And that will then become your starting point. So here's an example then of what you could do. So I've decided I'm going to be studying 3 days in a week. So on Mondays, I'm going to put aside 6 to 7. So this is where I'm going to read through the material. Clearly, this person does not have little children in the house because little people need to eat and go to bed at this time. But maybe you are you don't have to consider little children, and then that is a time that works for you. And then on a Wednesday, I'm going to use another hour again from 6 until 7. And then on Saturday, I'm going to spend 1 hour in which I'm going to review my work. So on Mondays, I'm going to read the material, not do notes and stuff, just read the material. On Wednesdays, I will do the activities. And then on Saturdays, I will check the activities to see if what I did was correct or not. Make sure that you add breaks for yourself. So maybe I'm going to study from 6 until 7, but I'm going to just study from 6 until maybe 6:25. Then I'm going to take a short 5-minute break, go and have a cup of tea or a smoke or whatever. Come back and work another 25 minutes and a 5-minute break at the end. Plan around your life commitments and adjust your plan as you go along. So the last section that I'm hoping to finish within the next couple of minutes, because I want to answer questions, will then be your digital literacy basics. So literacy, fancy word for language. Okay, so this is a digital language. So it is on how things work. Now, without giving your ages away, just think of your family members. Do your grandparents know how to work WhatsApp, how to send voice notes and so forth? Most likely not, okay? They are not digitally literate. They don't know how technology works. And some of you might feel you are not digitally literate because you're starting an online thing and you don't really know what's going on. Remember, contact that support people so they can help train you into these things. So you need to know how to log onto the system. You need to know how to find your material. How do I download and upload files? How am I going to read instructions? You also need to know, where do you save stuff? You type it in a Word document. Where do you save it? And I know as I'm talking here about a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet, there's some of you that's saying, what on earth is this woman talking about? Because you don't know that. In that case, you need to then go and find out certain things. So again, let YouTube be your friend. Go to YouTube and say how to type a document. You're going to find amazing, guys, I lecture research to my 4th year students. I cannot tell you how often I have got, now these are supposedly the clever people. I have to go to them and say to them, go to YouTube and go figure out, how do we do page numbering? How do we do this? How do we do that? YouTube is your teacher. It will tell you everything that you need to know. So we're telling you to send emails to request support, but maybe you don't know how to send an email. In that case, ask a friend. Maybe you've got people around you that are familiar with these things, and they can then hopefully help you. So if you want to use your learning platform of IQ Academy effectively, you need to try to access it close to every day. Look at your announcements. Follow the order in which the content is. So guys, I create content. I don't randomly just put things in certain order. So the fancy word for it is scaffolding. We start off with something easy, then we're going to build on it. So let's use something easy that everybody will understand. Eventually, I want you to write a 300-word essay. Before you can write an essay, you need to understand paragraphs. Before paragraphs, you need to understand sentences. Before sentences, you need to understand words. Before words, you need to understand sounds and the meaning of things. That is exactly how your stuff is planned. So your first learning unit is probably going to deal with the typical words that you're going to be using. Maybe by your second learning unit, you're now starting to write paragraphs. And by the third unit, you can now start writing essays. So follow the order in which things are done. Track your tasks. Make sure that you've done all the tasks, because you can only get your certificate or your piece of paper to say that you finished your qualification if you've completed all your tasks. So make sure that you stick to that. Save your important documents so that you don't lose them. And again, know where to get help. You've got the email address of the place that you can contact, but you also have people around you. If you are working, ask some of the people at your work to help you. Most of them can normally assist quite well. So this is just some more things on what you can do. Is make sure that you name your files correctly. So if I'm going to be doing a module on, let's say you're doing secretary note taking, file it and say assignment 1, secretary note taking. Give your files names that when you go look for it, you can find it. It's a logical one. Don't just number it 1, 2, and 3. And then you're busy now. In a month from now, you get another one and you're like, which one is it now? Is it now the first one? You just confuse yourself. So find ways. I'm not going to go through the whole slide here, but find an online system that is going to work for you. Communication is your responsibility. If you want to contact the people, you've now got the email address. Those are the people that you are going to have to contact, and they will help you in as much as what they can. So avoid common problems. Don't ignore a system's message if your system gives you a message. Don't ignore you're missing deadlines, or that you have missed a deadline and now, oh, well, tough luck. Now it's not more like that. Nuh-uh. You've got to try and figure out, how can I now fix it and make up for it? Another common problem that we have is we lose files. You start something and then the power goes off or the internet goes down and now you've lost your file. So these are the common problems that you have. So try to save your stuff regularly. If you're someone that struggles with computers, do a lot of your planning on paper in a book that you know where all your things are, so that if you lose something, you don't have to start from scratch. You've got the basics down on paper. Also, that can cause problems is unstable internet. Doesn't matter where in South Africa. I'm currently sitting in Cape Town, and earlier today, my internet was like all wonky. It didn't really work as well as what it does. You also, again, we've spoken about that. Don't wait too long for ask for help. Forgetting your passwords. Again, if you've got a notebook, it's a good space to write your password down, because trust me, you have got a bank password, a login password, an internet password, a YouTube password. You're going to forget these things. So write them down where you can. And then the other thing that students often forget is they upload something and then they don't submit. They upload it, but they don't click the submit button. So things were not submitted in the way that you thought it would have been submitted. So then, just as a wrap up so that you can finish off, and then I'm going to answer questions, would be online learning is possible if you create the right habits. There's no policeman, no mom, no teacher that's going to stand over your shoulder, or if you want to, no devil, although I'm sure he sits on those shoulders sometimes as well, that's going to try and tell you what to do. You have got to do it yourself. Plan your week so that you know what's going on, that you feel that things are not out of control. Use the tools that you've got. When you're stuck, ask for help. Stay consistent and do all the things that you possibly can do. And that is it for now. So I am totally done with the work. If anybody has got questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. We've got 470 plus people. It's very difficult to turn the mics on. So please, I'm going to start going through the questions. So I see people raise hands. I'm not going to use the hand raising of hands option. So please just go ahead and type it, and I am going to read through it. So we have got the first person is saying they're from Zerist doing OHS, one of our company's most popular courses, definitely worth doing. And the other person is from Pretoria. She's studying business management, which is a big one. Business management is she's in for the long haul. It's not going to be a short session. So that's also great. Now let's see, where did I stop? Okay, I see quite a few of you guys have shared links, so that is amazing that you've got that. I see people are sharing their numbers. This is a good space to try and connect to other people that are also doing something similar to what you're doing. No one is asking a specific question from what I see. You guys are helping yourselves here. Not that the stuff that I did is, oh, someone is studying local government. Yo, you know how to choose the difficult things. But yeah, very good though to do. So fantastic. I'm glad to see you are all studying such interesting things. So someone in Stellenbosch needs help with local government, maybe contact the support systems like we said, and maybe you can get in touch with other students. That is often if you can get a study buddy, you've hit the jackpot. If you could, even if they don't do exactly the same as what you do, it will be a great help for both of you, just to have someone that actually supports all the things that you do. Oh, and I see someone saying, yeah, they were studying ECD. Where did it go? I'm allowed after 3 months to continue for 3 months. That is an admin question, so I can't answer that. I'm not too familiar with that. Hopefully people within the organization will be able to answer the questions related to your admin. Remember, I'm just a speaker. I'm a lecturer. I don't know the admin systems inside out. So I see someone has shared with you guys links that you can click on, and more people are sharing numbers. Guys, I am not going to cut the meeting short at 7 o'clock. I have told Joel I'm happy to go on a little bit extra. So by the looks of what's going on in the chat, I think you guys are all actually helping yourselves here. I see after completing my higher certificate, can I apply at any university with my qualification? Zanele, it's going to depend on what certificate you've completed and what is it that you want to study at a university. So maybe contact the student support and they will be able to guide you better for that. Who can I contact? Someone wants to contact a lecturer. To my understanding, you guys don't have lecturers. You've got academic support people. It's just a fancy other name for it. Again, contact the support at iqa.ac.za, and someone there will be able to tell you who's the relevant person for your specific course that you want to do. Someone says, I need to know, how do I get my timetable, like assignments and exams, or do I need to finish all the units first? So again, that is a good question to ask support at ica.ac.za. They will be able to give you, because lots of different courses will work very differently. So just contact them and they will be able to help. And then Sandra says, please assist. I started in August last year doing a higher certificate. How long should it take to finish a module, more or less? I would imagine that information would have been on the system. I cannot answer because I don't know your specific qualification that well. So hopefully one of our admin people on the system will be able to tell you. Otherwise, again, send an email to support at the different places and someone is going to be able to help you. Okay, and someone very nicely created a QR code for you guys here, that you can obviously create a group by the looks of it. So it looks great. And then someone says they enjoy studying with IQ Academy. Wonderful. Good news to have. Someone says, I understand we are studying online. May I ask, do we have such sessions as this one webinar that we are doing today? No, these webinars are to help all students from all different faculties studying all different qualifications on how to do the different things. Like this was time management and how to plan for online teaching. It's not subject specific or module specific. So you are not going to find that you will find in your study material. Some of them might have links to videos that you can watch, but you don't actually have live sessions like this in your specific qualification thing. And I see more telephone. There's more numbers are given. I see hospitality and events created a nice WhatsApp chat. Guys, just scroll through it and you'd be able to see all the goodies. I'm just trying to see if I'm missing anything. No, that looks like it. My name is Maureen. I'm studying, enrolled. I enjoyed every single lesson during my course. Thank you. Oh, that's such nice feedback. Thank you, Maureen. And Tombi is saying, evening speaker, I'm studying higher certificate. After finishing my course with 22 months, do I have, oh, now I've lost it. Do I have to look for a training or I can look for a job? If you are finished with your qualification, start looking for a job. Many places actually take you, even if your qualification is not finished. As long as you can give them proof that you are waiting for the results or that you've completed a course, you would be able to get all the things done. Guys, remember I said I'm not going to be doing the hands thing. So if you've raised your hand to ask a question, the better way for you is actually going to be to just ask a question. There's too many of us to go through everything that we need to go through. So don't do it that way. Will there be any physical graduation? I don't know. One of your admin people can also tell you more about that. I'm not sure.
Yes, they will be.
Okay, thanks, Joel. It seems that most of the questions are more organization linked.
Very true.
Okay,
It
so
also seems, sorry to cut you there, it also seems like everybody is equipped with time management as they don't have any questions, which is a good sign that you, Yoranda, have done a good job.
okay, good. I see Annalise made me aware that Lulu asked a question. How can a person effectively manage stress after a long and demanding day, especially on a day when an important assignment must be submitted, if they arrive home and are affected by loud music coming from neighboring residences? Okay, so yeah, I can give you quite a lot of advice because I've dealt with this in my studies that I've done. So what often helps is find out when your deadlines are and write them in your diary 2 to 3 days earlier. So if you've got something that's due on the 20th, put it in your diary as the 17th. Then you know you've got 3 buffer days so that if you don't get it in on the 17th, you're okay because you've got days to fix it up. Life happens to us. Maybe you saw something terrible, or someone close to you has died, or um, someone that your boyfriend broke up for you, whatever the case might be. And you are now not in a mental state to sit down and focus. ultimately, that is an extremely stressful way. And that is why I say don't leave all your study aspects until right at the end. Do them as you progress through your material. Then you're not going to end up with stacks and stacks of assignments at the end of the day to get through. So how do you cope with noise from your neighbors? You're going to have to figure out, when do they not play loud music. If it's at a case of you're never going to be at home when it's quiet in the neighborhood, then you're going to have to seriously consider a different place to study. If that means that sometimes you'll have to stay at work for maybe 30 minutes longer to do your work there, it's not the ideal situation, but if that's the only thing you can do, then that's what you've got to do. The other thing that works very well is get earphones. Get yourself some earphones. Put your music list on, play background music, put your earphones on. It helps to block out the people around you. And that is an easier way to manage with all the things that you've got to do. So I hope I've answered your question. Stress is something that we all face every single day. And what works today is not necessarily going to work next week. Maybe you get home and your child's got a fever. Now you've got to rush off to the hospital and you can't do the work that you were planning to do today. That is why you've got to schedule your work on a weekly basis. So let's say I wanted to work 3 hours this week, but I only managed to do 1 hour because of life happening. Then on Sunday, when I start planning my next week, I've got to say, okay, I messed up, or life messed up, and I couldn't do all the things that I wanted to do. So please, can I then add an hour or 2 extra? You've got to be flexible with yourself for something like that. It's the only way you can actually cope, be it now with assignments, with life, and so forth. And also be understanding that some people that are there to support you, like some of your family members, actually cause you stress. If you get to a point where they're constantly saying, you've got to go study now, you've got to go study now, they might end up stressing you more. Then have that conversation with them and say to them, listen, I know you're trying to help me, but you're actually making it worse. You're not helping me to feel better. You're making me feel stressed. And then most of the time, if they're upset, they're going to say, oh, well, I was just trying to help. Then come up with a positive thing and say, if you want to help, why don't you do A, B, or C? Then they know what they can do to help you. Someone's saying, are they allowed to recheck their work when I'm done? I don't know if you guys can view your activities or your tasks once they are done. I think the system will mark it because it's multiple choice. So I'm not 200% sure what's going on there. I struggled last year to study my modules, but now I'm in and glad. Okay, so some people's just saying that, yes, it takes a while for you to get it. And guys, if worst case scenario, you get to a point where you cannot cope, something happens in your life, and for whatever reason, you cannot cope, contact and ask them, can I please study later? Can I pause my studies and continue it at a later stage? Rather be open and ask that. If you never ask that, you will not know. I've had to, because I'm in School of Education, so I normally train future teachers on how to be teachers. So often life happens. The one girl, she fell pregnant just sort of, we start in February, and by end of April, she found out she was pregnant, and her life was just too hectic to continue. So I had to say to her, you're not a failure. You're not giving up on your studies. You're simply pressing the pause button, and on another time that works better, you can then continue. So that's just some advice that I can suggest.
Yoranda, we have an
Yes.
interesting question in the chat.
Yes.
This is from Good Hope, who says, I constantly suffer from anxiety every time when I have to do formal assessments in such a way that I get scared to even start because I'm scared I might not pass.
Okay, so that means that This is the stuff I like doing. So not that I like that you are anxious. I like doing it because this is kind of what I deal with. How do we do study methods? So first of all, let's deal with what is anxiety. So anxiety is the fear of something that is in the future, such as in your case now, the fear of what's going to happen if I don't pass this? What's going to happen when I start this test and I don't know what to do? So the best way to get around it is to do little tests for yourself. Time yourself, do your assessments. You don't do one big assessment at the end of a qualification. You guys do assessments after each learning unit. So let's say you did your assessment after unit 1, and maybe you did not do as well as what you couldn't have done. Go figure out what is it that you did wrong and make that a learning opportunity so that it's not a failure. It's that you actually understand, where did I go wrong? Then when you do the test for unit 2 or the assignment for unit 2, you will be better prepared. And that is what I really like about the drip system, is that you are not overwhelmed with everything in one go. They give you little bits, and as long as you manage to finish that little bit before the next little bit comes in, you will be better equipped to deal with the stress. When you are feeling anxious, acknowledge to yourself, I am feeling anxious now. Why am I feeling anxious? That is what you've got to ask yourself. It's not an invalid feeling. And a lot of time when we are seriously anxious, logic flies out the window. I do get panic attacks. So when I'm in the middle of a panic attack, there's no logic. I am convinced I'm busy dying. My husband's a doctor. He will say to me, your heart rate is fine. Everything's fine. You're not busy dying. I'm like, I don't care what you say. I'm busy dying. So you've got to find a way for yourself. So one of my favorite things that I do, it's podcaster Mel Robbins. So what she says, anxiety and excitement feels exactly the same in the body. Your heart beats, you're feeling sweaty. So when you're feeling anxious, try to convince yourself, you know what? I'm just excited because I'm going to be doing this test, and I'm excited to see what I'm going to do. Trust me, you're going to have to do it for quite a while because your brain's going to say, oh, girl, you're talking nonsense now. But you will eventually get better at that. So I hope that helps to answer your question. Again, go onto YouTube and go look up questions such as how to deal with test or assignment anxiety. And you're going to find lots of advice by people that are way more qualified than what I am to answer quite a lot of these questions. Okay, so someone is asking, how can they see? There's a lot of the questions, Joel, in the chat that I cannot, like Balesa's question, I can't answer it because I don't know what the answer is.
Well, I can step in there. In
Yes,
regards
please
to
do.
short courses, we do not offer or host graduation ceremonies for short courses. We do, however, have something planned for short courses coming up soon. So please look out for our social media posts in that regard. And a lot of the questions I'm seeing are, as Yoranda has been mentioning, are admin related questions, which support is the best place to ask and also to get answers, as well as our other sessions that we have every week for onboarding as well as guidance on the virtual campus. So in this session, we specifically ask if you have any questions around time management and navigating online education.
I'm busy typing a question. I think it was Nicole that asked, a student asked, I've registered but never did any assignments so far. I've got a job and family and I'm struggling to cope any advice, please. So my start that I said is, first of all, go and work out what is it that you all need to do. How many assignments are there? Basically, get the bigger picture. Am I doing 3 courses? Am I doing 1 course? How many subjects or modules do I have? How many assignments do I have? And only when you've got that can you then plan and say, okay, I've got a job, I've got a family, I can only put aside 1 hour work. But in that 1 hour, I will have to seriously focus. So it really does help to first get the overall picture. What is it that you are behind in? What is it that you need to all complete to be up to speed with where it is that you need to be? That's the best advice for any of these aspects, is start off with, where am I? Where am I supposed to be? How am I going to get there? So I hope that helps.
But if I can ask a question, perhaps someone
Sure.
is scared or shy to ask. So, in regards to time management, are there any tools that you have heard of that can potentially help us, especially from an automation point of view?
What I find to be very helpful for myself, like I said, I'm busy with my PhD at the moment and I'm doing lots of other stuff, is I actually set alarms on my phone to go off. So when my alarm rings and I'm like, I've labeled it something specific, then I know, okay, now is PhD time. Another thing that works quite well is to, if you work on in a diary, to block out a time. Like tonight between 8 and 10 is my study time. That is the time I've put aside for myself this week. On Wednesday and on Saturday, I am going to be studying. On Wednesday, I can do it from 8 until 10. And on Saturday, if I can remember correctly, I'm doing it from 2 until 4. That's when I can fit it in. So a diary helps. Setting alarms definitely helps. If you're someone that struggles with focus, even setting an alarm for how long, or a countdown, like a timer, that also works really well to help students with what it is that you have got, that kind of like just helps you to see what it is. Set a timer on your cell phone. Most of our cell phones, you can set 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And if it means that's going to be helpful for you to have your phone, just maybe put your phone on flight mode so that you don't get messages or something coming in, but you've got your countdown. And I find that really helps a lot to stick to the program. And definitely, if a reward system is going to work for you, think of rewards that you would like. If I've stuck to my study schedule for 2 weeks in a row, I can go and have a cup of coffee with a friend, or whatever it is that you enjoy in life. That also works. So the 3 that I highly recommend that I use a lot is, first of all, alarms on my phone, blocking times on my diary or my calendar, and thirdly, setting for myself rewards for when I stick to my program. And that's it from me.
Thank you so, so much, Yolanda. We really appreciate all the points that you have shared. It has really empowered even myself, because I'm going to go back to school. So I want to study. I believe education never ends and it's an investment in yourself. So therefore you're adding worth and you end up being expensive to yourself, to companies, you earn more, and there's other benefits such as not being stagnant. But let me not have a monologue. We really appreciate everything that you have shared. And Yoranda, are you open for us to share your presentation to the attendees?
Yes, with pleasure. You can share it, and if at any later stage they want to recap, they can just go and watch the video and see what it's all about. But yes, definitely, just as a last comment, remember, students, it takes 3 weeks to create a new habit. So if you can set a study schedule that you try to stick to, the first 2 or so weeks will be difficult. Week 3, it gets a little bit better, but after week 3, and then starts really getting doable, because now you've gotten into that habit. It's the same thing if you want to start a diet or if you want to go back to the gym. The first 3 weeks are the difficult weeks. After that, it will get better. So just hang in there for 3 weeks and then everything is going to get fine. Joel, I think we can stop the recording.
Agreed. So as I mentioned before, if you have any admin questions, I have sent out all the email addresses